I'm Gurave Namaha. Om Parama Gurave Namaha. Ganganapataye Namo Namaha. Hung Hanamate Namaha. Om Bhagavati Durga Devi Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sring Subhadraya Namaha. Om Gopi Jana Vallabhaya Namaha. Klingoraya Namaha. Klinityanandaya Namaha. Sraung Nrsinghaya Namaha. Sring Kling Radha Krishnabhyam Namaha. Sring Rang Sitaramabhyam Namaha. Om Apavitra Pavitrova Sarva Avastangato Piva Ya Smaret Pundarik Akshang Sabhaya Abhyantara Shuchihi. Please repeat. Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. Om Ajnana Timarandasya Jnana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitang Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalang Pangung Lang Hayate Giring Yat Kripa Tamahang Vande Sri Gurung Dinataranang. Yat Kripa Tamahang Vande Padama Ananda Madhavang. Trinadapi Sunichena Taror Eva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatir Anyata. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Korea Aikya Arana Koriho Mane Asha. Welcome everyone. Some of you I have not seen for quite some time. And especially I want to give special note to my new friend Prashams. Let's bless him and encourage him. And someone I have not seen 12 years or more, Nityanandi Devi Dasi. So nice, beautiful. May Lord Nityananda, your favorite, bless you and protect you. Today's host is the Dalal family, doing so in the memory of a personal friend of mine, one of the temple presidents previously here at RadhaRaman. Some of you know him as Jashpai Patel. Some of him know him as Jai Krishna Das. And his son-in-law asked me that you speak on what you think my papa would want. So, in the middle of the week, I got my text message from Krishna. And the message was, glorify and speak on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is the Bhagavad Gita month. All the temples are doing their Gita Yagya. So first, I'll begin with something I very much like to recite and speak on. It is Shankaracharya's Gita Mahatmyam. Then I will give a overall summary of the Gita. All in favor say, Hare Krishna. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So first, there are two verses which we find in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which helps us to understand who is Adi Shankara Acharya. These quotes are from the Puranas. Swagamai kalpitais twangcha janan mad vimukan kuru mangcha gopaya yena syat sristir isho tarotara. So Lord Shiva was addressing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They were having a conversation. And then Lord Vishnu spoke to Mahadev, saying, please make the general populace averse to me by imagining your own interpretation of the Vedas. Also, cover me in such a way that people will take more interest in advancing material civilization just to propagate a population bereft of spiritual knowledge. So, Shankaracharya is the incarnation of Mahadev, and he's been given a specific duty, instruction by Krishna. Then we also have this quote. Both of these are from the Padma Purana. This time, Lord Shiva is addressing Parvati, Durga Devi. Mayavadam ashash chastram prachanang baudam uchyate mayaiva vihitang devi kalau brahmana murtina. In the age of Kali, I take the form of a Brahmana and explain the Vedas through false scriptures in an atheistic way, similar to Buddhist philosophy. So with that being said, we now understand the mission of Shankaracharya given to him by Krishna. Nevertheless, Shankaracharya has written this beautiful Geeta Mahatmyam because actually he is the greatest devotee. The greatest. Vaishnavanang yatha Shambhu. At the end of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami is summarizing many things. And one of those verses, he says, of rivers, Ganga is topmost. Of scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam. Of deities, Lord Achyuta. And of Vaishnavas, devotees, Shambhu. Here is Sri Shankaracharya's Geeta Mahatmyam. Geeta Shastram idang punyang yapathet prayatak puman Vishnu padam avapnoti bayashoka divarjita. By the way, if you were to carefully study Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, you'll notice that he has composed an introduction, and he closes out the introduction by paraphrasing this Geeta Mahatmyam. One with a regulated mind recites with devotion this Bhagavad Gita scripture, which is the bestower of all virtue, will attain to a holy abode like Vaikuntha, the residence of Lord Vishnu, which is always free from the mundane qualities based on fear and lamentation. Gita dhyana shilasya pranayama parasya cha naiva santi hi papani puravajanma kritani cha. If one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and with all seriousness, then, by the grace of the Lord, the reactions of one's past misdeeds will not act So the two things, three things. Number one, what book should we read? Bhagavad Gita. Sincerely and seriously. Those are the qualifications, according to Adi Shankaracharya. Malane mochanang pungsang jalasnanam dine dine sakrid gitamrita snanam sangsara malanashanam. One may cleanse his or herself daily by taking a bath in water. But if one takes a bath even once in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, for him or her, the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished. Just see the power of Gita. Your sins will become vanquished. Gita sugita kartavya kim anya shastra vistarai ya swayang padmanabhasya mukha padmad vinisrita. Because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's that? Krishna. One need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. How many of us do that on a daily? Yes. You are the real devotees. You are approved by Shankaracharya. In the present age, people are so absorbed in mundane activities, it is not possible for them to read all the Vedic literatures. But it's not necessary. This one book, what book? Bhagavad Gita will suffice. Why? Because it is the essence of all Vedic literatures. And especially because it was spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who? Everyone should know the answer to that question. And it should come out roaring. You'll be tested again. The teacher has given the answers. So, interesting. There are the 4 Vedas, 108 Upanishads, Mahabharata, 18 Puranas, Itihasas, so many Vedic literatures. Shankaracharya says, Gita is the summary, it's the essence of all of them. Bharata Amrita Sarvasvam Vishnu Vaktrad Vinisritam Gita Gangodakang Pitva Punarjanmana Vidyate. By drinking the Ganges water of the Gita, so Shankaracharya is saying, Gita is like Ganga Jal, the divine quintessence of the Mahabharata, emanating from the holy lotus mouth of Lord Krishna. One will never take rebirth again in the material world. In other words, by devotionally reciting the Gita, the cycle of birth and death is terminated. He says here that the Gita is the quintessence of Mahabharata. Actually, you will find in Bhagavatam that it is stated that the whole purpose of the Mahabharata is to get the reader to come to the point of Bhagavad Gita. That is the real message Vyasadeva had in compiling Mahabharata. Yes, there are so many interesting stories. But according to Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva's real intention is to trick the reader to come to Bhagavad Gita. Here comes my favorite. There are 7 shlokas. This is the 6th and my favorite because I consider it meditation. People sometimes ask, oh, you Hare Krishna ISKCON people, you don't meditate. I go, oh, we meditate. We meditate on the holy name. Everybody. And we also meditate on so many shlokas in the Geeta and Bhagavatam. And also, there are many little meditations within Bhagavatam. And this 6th verse, I consider, listen. Sarvo panashado gavo dogda gopalanandana partho vatsa sudir bhokta dugdang gitamritang mahat. So here's the meditation. Picture a cow, a nice, beautiful cow. So this cow represents all the 108 Upanishads. That's the cow. Now, there's an expert milker of this cow. I wonder who could that be? Krishna. Or here, Gopal Nandana. Yes, Gopal. Krishna has so many names. Gopal, Krishna, Govinda, so many. So, everybody knows Krishna is a cowherd boy. And he milks the calves and the cows. So we got the cow, 108 Upanishads. And we have our milker, Lord Sri Krishna. Now, when does a cow give milk? In the presence of calf. So who would be the calf? Arjuna. Arjuna is the calf. So Krishna is milking this cow of 108 Upanishads, and the milk is Bhagavad Gita. Now, who is this milk for? Us. It is specifically for us, the people of Kali Yuga, so that we could be delivered, just like Arjuna. Another argument people sometimes give, oh, yes, Arjuna accepted Krishna because he was on the chariot. So when Krishna is in my living room, then I'll surrender. Sorry, it don't work like that. The whole reason, because Arjuna didn't need Bhagavad Gita. He didn't need it. He allowed himself to play the role of a bewildered, confused personality like everybody in Kali Yuga. So he played that role so that there would be this opportunity. Krishna would speak the Bhagavad Gita. It's for us to take advantage. And Shankaracharya has given so many impetuses. So we are to drink now. In Bhagavatam, very early, the 3rd verse, Vyasadeva says, Pibata, you drink Bhagavatam through your ears. We don't usually drink through our ears. We drink, like when we have prasad, we eat through the mouth. But in transcendental land, you have transcendental senses. Your ears can drink the nectar of the Gita or the Bhagavatam or the Kirtan. You're drinking that through your ear. Amrita, deathless nectar. Final statement of Shankaracharya. This one is very heavy. This is so powerful, what Shankaracharya says. Ekang shastrang devaki putra gitam eko devo devaki putra eva eko mantrastasya namani yani karmapi ekang tasya devasya seva. Again he says, there need be only one holy scripture, the divine Gita, sung by Lord Krishna. Only one worshipful Lord, Sri Krishna. This is Shankaracharya speaking. It's not me. I'm just a messenger. Shankaracharya said, one worshipful Lord, Krishna. He said, Devaki Putra, twice. Twice. Only one mantra, his holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And only one duty, devotional service unto that supreme worshipful Lord, Sri Krishna. All in favor of what Shankaracharya has just said, say Hari Bol. Oh, good. I'm in the right temple. Very good. Okay. So now I will attempt to give a gist of what's in the Gita. So, there are 700 shlokas as compared to 18,000 in Bhagavatam. And those 700 shlokas are spoken in 18 chapters. Srila Prabhupada has commented that you can take those 18 chapters and divide it by 3 sections of 6 chapters each. First 6, middle 6, last 6. Then Prabhupada says the middle 6, that's called most confidential. So the first 6 chapters, last 6 chapters are protective coverings for the middle 6 chapters, which are very confidential. So that's a schematic overview. Now, in the 18 chapters, we have 2 chapters which are considered summarizations. Chapter 2 is considered, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said, summary of the Gita. And then, chapter 18, Prabhupada writes, actually, Gita is finished in 17 chapters. 18th chapter is a re-summarization. So, you have 2 chapters which you could study, which will give you a summary. Of course, I've already mentioned Prabhupada's introduction to the Gita, and that is also so nice. You read that introduction, you will understand Gita. Okay, the Gita opens up in all places on a battlefield. Day 1 of a fratricidal war. 2 families have finally come to that point where there is no question of reconciliation. Krishna went to the Kauravas and presented a peace proposal. But the Kauravas rejected the peace proposal. So that was the last-ditch effort. Krishna said, all you have to do is return the rightful property to the Pandavas. That's all, which you promised. But Duryodhana and his father and all the brothers, they were too wicked. So they said no. So now there was no recourse. War is always the last option. The last option. So we see in the beginning, Krishna has assumed the role of chauffeur, chariot driver for Arjuna, where he gets the famous name, Partha Sarathi. And Arjuna instructs his friend Krishna, take me to the front. I want to see who has come here to fight. So Krishna says, okay. Krishna is excellent in anything he does. He drives the chariot, and Arjuna sees, oh my God, my relatives, my cousin brothers, so many people that I know for years and years and years. These are the ones I have to kill. So Arjuna gives arguments, social, moral, religious arguments, and they all sound very, very good. They all sound very plausible. But Krishna is not buying it. In fact, Krishna tells Arjuna, Arjuna, the way you're speaking, no Pandit speaks like you. No learned person speaks like you. But then, the turning point of the Geeta, in the beginning of chapter 2, the turning point, Shasyaste shadimang twang prapanam karpanya doshopahata swabhava. So Arjuna says, all right, I'm confused. I'm bewildered. I don't know what I should do at this crucial moment. Krishna, stop being my friend, because they had a pretty much, you could say, equal relationship. They did many things together. Arjuna helped Krishna get one of his wives. That was Kalindi. Arjuna was there. He helped. Hare Krishna. So Arjuna says to Krishna, okay, don't stop being friends. I want you to be guru. Just like, say, you have a friend that's a doctor. Now, your doctor, you may go to your friend and say, okay, this. Now, don't talk to me like a friend. Talk to me like a doctor talking to the patient. That's being called smart. Don't whitewash it. Give me the straight sauce. It's like a few days ago, I went to see one doctor, and I was awaiting bad news. So I said, okay, what's the story? And he goes, oh, you're good to go. Here I was, so nervous, but I'm good to go. Jai, it must be all of your nice prayers for me. Thank you. So Arjuna says, Krishna, you instruct me. Tell me what I should do now, because I'm confused. Then Krishna begins instructing. Only when Arjuna surrendered, voluntarily, no twisting of the arm, no, voluntary surrender. Krishna begins to instruct Arjuna, but the conclusion is always the same. Every so often, Krishna will say so many things and then say, therefore, get up and fight. He'll speak more, therefore, fight. So, for Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita is not a book of peace. Not for Arjuna. Because Krishna's whole purpose was to incite him to get, like we say, fired up. Because he dropped his bow. When he was talking to Krishna, Arjuna dropped his bow. Said, I shall not fight. Govinda, I shall not fight. I've given the example many times how to understand this. Say, God forbid, we were attacked right now, this temple. All of us would get on our cell phones, 911, help, come, we're being attacked. So what if the police came and when they got to the front gate said, you know what? We're not going to go in and save you. How would we feel? We'd want all those people fired. Because why? They didn't do their duty, right? If you're in danger, you call the police. We expect them to do their duty. That is Krishna's argument to Arjuna. You are failing to do your duty. And Krishna explains so many different philosophies, but the whole thing, get up and do your duty. Our duty, now it depends. If you are on the material platform, then your duty is to take care of your family, live a righteous life, don't incur sinful reactions. So that's your duty. And if you're a devotee, then your duty is to fight Maya, to fight illusion, to fight ignorance, and to be always fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna. That is our fight. Fighting the illusory energy, Maya. Now it's interesting, when Krishna begins his instructions, he begins with Sankhya, an analytical study of the difference between matter and spirit, the difference between the body and the soul, the difference between those things eternal and those things temporary. So in 20 verses, Krishna explains to Arjuna the first lesson in transcendental knowledge, because Geeta is transcendental. It's above the material world. It's above the Vedas. As he says early, Arjuna, become transcendental to the Vedas, to the modes of nature. So Geeta is a book of transcendental knowledge. There's even one chapter, chapter 4, transcendental knowledge. So it begins with that. Then Krishna explains that Arjuna, even from the social point of view, the reason you should fight this war is because for you, it's win-win. Everybody likes that kind of deal, a win-win deal. So Krishna says, you fight and you conquer, you will rule the world. You fight and you die, you're going to heaven. Que paso? What's the problem? So Krishna throughout Geeta is working on Arjuna's intelligence, because that's what Geeta is. You'll see towards the end. Anyone who reads Bhagavad Gita is worshiping Krishna through their intelligence. So that's why some people, they have a hard time with the Gita, because it's not stories and it's not an easy read. You have to study it. You have to use your brain. You have to ponder. And a lot of people are lazy. Manda samanda matayo. So some people are just lazy. In fact, I have one doctor friend, and she's a great devotee. And she told me yesterday, she said, you know, when it came to studying medicine, I would study and study, and I learned everything. But when it comes to Gita and Bhagavatam, I can't read it. But she has a friend, a devotee friend, who told her, that's okay. just hear lectures, hear narrations, and hear the Maha Mantra. Everybody. Then, at the end of chapter 2, Krishna gives a summary of what is transcendence. In chapter 3, Karma Yoga is explained. So, karma, that Sanskrit word, is understood with different meanings. Sometimes it means work. Sometimes it means activity. Sometimes it means reaction. So, depending on the usage, takes on a concept. So, in the Vedas, Karma Kanda is rituals, sacrifices, which are performed under the auspices of a Purohit. But generally, it is for some material gain, either present or future. And that is different from ordinary karma, where there is no such religious performance. In this concept of karma, the Gita talks about 3 karmas: karma, vikarma, karma. So karma, pious, regulated activities authorized in the scriptures. Vikarma, disobedience to the laws of the Vedas. Just like we have so many laws here in California. And we all drive our fancy cars. And there are so many rules, are there not? And if you are not careful, step out of the car. So, driving a car is responsibility. So, vikarma is just like breaking the laws of the state or the country. So, when we violate the laws of God or the laws of nature, the Shastras, that is called vikarma. Then there is akarma. Now, this word akarma is many times misunderstood because there is an impersonal understanding and a personal understanding. The impersonal understanding of akarma is don't do anything. No action. Which is basically impossible. Because 3rd chapter of Gita says the soul is always active. So how can you not do anything? By nature, the soul is active. That's a whole nother discussion. The real meaning of akarma is given by the devotees, the personalists. And this concept, actually, we spoke about it the last time the Dalal family sponsored our program. When he asked about Bhakti Yoga, remember? Yes. So, akarma in the devotional or personal path means actions, but they do not yield any material reaction. Now, this is something a lot of people can't understand. But the real meaning of akarma is activities which are by themselves transcendental or spiritual, and they yield no material reaction, good or bad. Because according to the Gita, if you perform pious activities, You have to take birth somewhere to enjoy the fruits of that fruitive activity. Whereas once you become free from material activities, you have no reason to take birth again. Because you only take birth in order to enjoy or suffer material reactions fostered by material desires. So a karma again means actions, but they are transcendental, and that's what we discussed. Jyoti sang our favorite bhajan. Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasyare Pujana Sakijan Atmanivedana Govinda Nirantara Dasa Abhilashare. Yes, I can sing. I can put my name there. I also want that. I want to be engaged in 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 kinds. Just like the great devotee, Ambarish. He did all the 9 items of bhakti. And even though he was king, all his actions were transcendental, akarma. So much so that when Durvasa Muni wanted to kill Ambarish, no can do. Lord Vishnu sent his Sudarshana Chakra to chastise Durvasa Muni, another incarnation of Lord Shiva, by the way, an expansion. And Durvasa Muni went all over the universe because the Sudarshana Chakra was right there. Right there. It's like on the way here, there was somebody right on my tail on the 5 freeway. They were getting closer and closer, trying to, you know how they are. They want to intimidate you and make you move over. You move. I'm doing the speed limit. So that Sudarshana Chakra was right there. And Durvasa went to Lord Brahma. Brahma said, I can't save you. Durvasa went to his origin, Lord Shiva. Can't help you, Baba. Then he went to Narayan. He prostrate, fell down. Narayan said, I can't help you. Don't you know? In my heart, I know only one thing, my devotees. Why? Because in my devotees' heart, they only know me. That is called compact of love. A real love, the man is always thinking of the woman, and the woman is always thinking of the man. Right, Varuni? Yes, that is love. When you constantly think of the beloved. So that's what Narayan, and then Narayan said, if you want my Sudarshan Chakra to go, you have to touch Ambarish's feet. If he forgives you, you're good. Durvasa went, fell down, begged forgiveness. And there's the picture. Ambarish is telling the Sudarshana Chakra, halt, stop. Durvasa was saved. Now Durvasa could understand the greatness of devotees, karma, who act, but their actions have no material good or bad reaction. There are 2 chapters in the Geeta that talk about karma, chapter 3 and chapter 5. Chapter 5 answers it more completely, and you see that Prabhupada entitled it Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. That is another definition of akarma. Action in Krishna Consciousness, which you're doing right now. Sravanam. You're hearing. And I'm doing Sravana Kirtanam, and I'm also doing Smaranam. Why? Because I'm depending on Krishna to help me what to say next. I'm not reading from a screen. No teleprompter. It's coming from here. So, hearing, chanting, remembering. We will do the arti. That's another devotional activity. And, as I've said many times here, I actually consider the 10th item. Atmanavedanam is number 9. Prasadanam, number 10. That's devotional service. Lord Chaitanya was very adamant. Take Krishna Prasad. When Lord Chaitanya would serve, he would put so much on your plate. Lord Chaitanya wanted you to see you. Just like we used to say in the early days of ISKCON. Prabhupada said, eat up to the neck. So we took that instruction very seriously. Trust me. I remember joining. They said, Prabhu, you should take enough prasadam that you waddle like this. And as you can see, I followed that instruction perfectly. Even my wife is laughing. That's a good sign. All right. Then in chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge. In chapter 4, Krishna explains who he is very nicely. And there are some key verses in chapter 4. But I'm running out of time, so I have to speed up. So, in chapter 6, Krishna explains real yoga. Not this hot yoga and goat yoga and beer yoga and Hollywood. There's a new yoga every day. Yes, there is goat yoga and beer yoga. I've seen it. No, Krishna explains real yoga, which means sense control, mind control, thinking of Krishna within. And then we see Arjuna, after hearing a summary, says to Krishna, I can't do this yoga. My mind is too turbulent, obstinate, strong. I can't do it. But Krishna didn't leave him off the hook. He said, no, it's possible. If you do it properly and you are detached from material life, then you can do yoga. And at the end of that chapter 6, Krishna speaks that wonderful verse, Yoginam api sarvesham madgitain antaratmana sradavan bhajate omam sameyuktatamo mata. Of all yogis, the one who has great faith in me, who is always worshiping me with great faith and a devotion, that person is the topmost. And Lord Chaitanya has pointed out his opinion. Who are the topmost yogis according to Lord Chaitanya? The gopis. The gopis did not do, no, that's not what the gopis did. The gopis, from early in the morning to late at night, working. And Lord Chaitanya says, they're the greatest yogis, yes. Because although they are taking care of the cows, taking care of children, taking care of parents, doing so many household activities, internally they're always thinking, when can we be with Krishna? So they're externally doing so many things, but inside they're thinking of Krishna. And they're not revealing to their parents or anyone They keep it hidden, gupta. But that's what they're doing. They're the greatest yogis, Lord Chaitanya said. Why? Because they're always thinking of Krishna. In chapter 7, Krishna explains, well, you want to know who I am? Mattak parataram na anyat. Na kichin asti dhananjaya. My dear Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. There it is. No truth superior to Krishna. Everything rests on Krishna as pearls are strung on a thread. Everything here is Krishna's energy. The state of Maya or illusion is to think that there's some existence excluding Krishna. But that's an illusion, because Krishna also says, right? Vasudeva sarvam iti. I am everything. That means all inclusive, no exceptions. Everything is Krishna's energy. Chapter 8 talks about how to give up the body at the time of death. How should you give up the body? By remembering Krishna. And how will you remember Krishna? Because some people think, oh, all right, I'll be a devotee. I'll remember Krishna when I'm old. I remember one time in Panama, I went to see some 70-year-old Indian man. And they had told me, devotees had told me, oh, this guy, he likes to go to nightclubs, he drinks and this and that. I said, that's all right. So I was talking to him, and I said, so when are you going to give up your sinful activities? He said, oh, when I'm old. And I said, you're 70. So this is called Maya. It's also called stupidity. No, we have to prepare and practice now. Just like right now, I think it's now, there's a big basketball game, right? But those players, they've been practicing day in, day out, so that they're ready. So we also have to practice and be ready for that moment of death where we will call out, Hare Krishna. Just like I've said this before, you can test how you are. You're driving, some knucklehead cuts you off. What comes out? What comes out when that happens? That tells you if you're ready. Because if it's a 4-letter word, you're not going back home back to Godhead. You're going to some loka. But if in situations, the first response, Hare Krishna. A couple of years ago, I had to see a doctor, and he did a procedure, and it was supposedly, I was supposed to be numb, but at a certain point, I started to feel the instrument. So I cried out, Krishna! And the doctor just, what? He couldn't believe it. He never heard Krishna's name so loud. Now I have to go back and see him, and he remembers me. And I told him, just expect, if whatever you're doing is, I'm not numb, you know what's going to come out. So be ready. So we practice remembering Krishna at the time now, so that we're ready at the time of death. There are 2 verses in the Geeta which are repeated, at the end of the 9th chapter and towards the end of chapter 18, Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Then the last 2 lines are changed, but those 2 lines. So Krishna here gives the basic, how to surrender, how to go back home, back to Godhead, how to transcend. Simple. Manmana, always think of Krishna. Bhavamad Bhakto, become Krishna's devotee. To become Krishna's devotee, you act for Krishna. Then, Namaskuru, bow down, offer prayers and obeisances to Krishna. Work for Krishna. Eat for Krishna. Live for Krishna. Yes. Then you will be able to go back home, back to Godhead. I could go for another 2 hours, but I don't have authorization. So we'll finish up. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo. My dear Lord Krishna, please bless these nice devotees. May they all fix their minds on your lotus feet. May they be removed from all Maya. And may they completely surrender at your lotus feet and take shelter. And you please bless them. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.